Hello, lovelies. Welcome to a new Coffee with Cass. Cheers. Today I'm drinking a dark roast, which is unusual for me. I usually go for the medium roast, but it's a good blend. So, today I thought I would chat about some recent movies that I've watched. I've been compiling a list for the last couple months, I'd say. I've been trying to watch more movies that I've wanted to watch for a while or that just have come out. So for a bit I took a break from binging TV shows, and instead I was watching more movies. So this will be spoiler free though, in case you haven't seen the film and you want to. I don't want to ruin anything, so I'll just give a little review of each movie, what I thought, and you can take this as a suggestion list if you like. I will not include spoilers just for that reason. So if you're ready, sit back with me, relax, grab your coffee, your tea, your hot chocolate, your iced tea, whatever you need, and let's just calm down. I do have the list in my phone, so I'll be referencing that today. Okay, so to start, I'll give you a little bit of information on the movie too, in case you haven't heard of it. So, the first one, The Impossible. This came out in 2012. The story of a tourist family in Thailand caught in the destruction and chaotic aftermath of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. This stars Naomi Watts, Ewan McGregor, and Tom Holland. So, I've wanted to watch this movie for years, and I just never have. It hasn't been on a streaming service, or I never rented it. I just never got around to watching it, but it's one that it's been on my list for so long. So I saw it streaming, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this one. Going into it, I knew that it was going to be quite an emotional film, and it is. It is a very intense film. And even though it was filmed 10 years ago now, the effects in the movie make it even more intense. It looks so realistic, and there are aspects of this movie that are very brutal, and if you're not looking for a based on a true tragic event type movie, it might not be for you. So go into that and know that it is a very serious topic. But overall, I did enjoy this movie. I thought the acting from the various people in it was incredible, and it does give you a lot of emotions though, so I feel like that needs to be a warning for you, just in case you aren't familiar with it. But like I said, I did enjoy the film. I thought it was really well done, and the actors did a really good job in it, so it was an enjoyable watch, even with the added emotion on my heart, if you will. So, next up, The Weekend Away, which came out in 2022. A luxe apartment, lavish meals, boardwalk views, it's a perfect weekend escape until her best friend goes missing and her reality begins to unravel. This is starring Leighton Meester, and as I said, is a new movie. This was a viewer suggested movie, so thank you. I think it was Ryan that suggested this movie. Sorry if that's incorrect. But I really enjoyed this movie. It's like a thriller vibe to it, so there is a lot of mystery. This movie had me feeling so many different emotions, good and bad. There were good scenes, there were scenes that made me so mad. There were scenes that really got your heart going because it's a thriller and it's intense moments. It was all over the board, in a good way, because it kept you guessing throughout the course of this film, in my opinion. Sometimes I find that thrillers will almost let me down with like a typical plot. This one, like I said, it kept me guessing, and I thoroughly enjoyed the experience watching it because it was so many highs and lows and the emotions were all over the place. So if you like thrillers, I would highly recommend this one. I still need to get my mom to watch it because she loves thrillers. The acting in it was really good, and yeah, overall I think it was a really good movie, a good pick to watch. Okay, so next up I watched Tonya from 2017. Competitive ice skater Tonya Harding rises amongst the ranks as the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, but her future in the activity is thrown into doubt when her ex-boyfriend intervenes. This is starring Margot Robbie and Sebastian Stan. This is a movie that it wasn't really on my radar. You know, I know of the Tonya Harding story, all of that, but a couple family members said that they really enjoyed it. I did learn more about Tonya Harding, if you will, and the whole situation. Things that I didn't really know. I was quite young when it happened. I just wasn't old enough to be aware of, like, that situation, like, back when it was happening. But, of course, it is the Hollywood version of events, if you will. You get like the Hollywood true story, so you have to take those with some of it's probably true and as first-hand accounts with the people involved, and other times they have to make the movie interesting, so you always have to think of that. But overall, I thought it was an entertaining movie. It was quite sad to me. The situations and things that she had gone through were quite sad, in my opinion. It is a very different role it's a very different role for Margot Robbie. I have seen her in other things besides Harley Quinn, but this is quite different, in my opinion. She did a really good job, but it was definitely a very interesting movie. I think I was left feeling bad for her, which I think was kind of like the goal that they were aiming for, to hear of more her point of view of things, I guess, if you will, depending on what side of the drama you're on. So then we go to The Eternals. This came out in 2021. It's a Marvel movie, if you're unaware. The Eternals, a race of immortal beings with superhuman powers who have secretly lived on Earth for thousands of years, reunite to battle the evil deviants. So there's a lot of things happening in this movie. My big thing when the trailers came out for this movie was, oh, well, now they show up. Like, thanks a lot. They could have used your help with Thanos, right? And then watching it, I'm kind of glad that they weren't there for Thanos, because they're kind of a mess. The group is kind of a mess. Kind of a cluster, if you will. I did not dislike this movie. Like, I didn't hate it. It takes a lot for me to hate a movie. It's definitely not one of my favorite Marvel movies. That's not to say that I thought everyone did really good in the roles. The actors and the group that was in that were really good. I didn't have a problem with that. I don't know, it's hard. Let me take a good sip. I connected with some of the characters, and some of them, and I like enjoyed their characters while watching it, and some of them I just didn't care about. And because there was like such a big group of like main characters, the momentum of the movie kind of felt off at some points. So I'm glad that I watched this film, because it is a Marvel movie. I'm sure some of these people will like show up in future Marvel flicks, right? And I could watch it again potentially, but like I said, not my favorite. And it was just like a lot of messy drama happening, in my opinion. So that's a very mixed review. I don't know how to I know that it got a lot of like harsh criticism, and I'm not on that level whatsoever, because like I said, I did connect and really like a couple of the characters. and I'd like to see them in like future things, but not my favorite. Not my favorite. Then we have Free Guy, came out in 2021. A bank teller discovers that he's actually an NPC inside a brutal open-world video game, starring Ryan Reynolds and Jodie Comer. This movie was so adorably cute and fun. I watched it with one of my munchkins, one of my little brothers from another mother, and it is super cute and fun. Ryan Reynolds cracks me up in everything he's in, even if the characters can sometimes be similar. I don't know. He's just always entertaining to me, and I loved the idea of this video game world and realizing that you live in a video game sort of situation. There are a lot of Easter eggs in this movie that were some of my favorite parts. I will not say them because like you need to experience the movie to see it, but overall I thought this movie was just super cute and super fun. I would definitely watch it again, and yeah, I would recommend it, especially for like people that love video games. Like, probably right up your alley in my opinion. Then we have Run, came out in 2020. A homeschooled teenager begins to suspect her mother is keeping a dark secret from her. This stars Sarah Paulson and Kira Allen. I'm a fan of Sarah Paulson, so I had heard about this movie when it first was like announced, but when it came out I didn't have Hulu, so I couldn't stream it. The acting in this is really good, in my opinion. Some of the storylines can come off as predictable thriller ideas, but there's a lot of parts in this movie that were like made my anxiety go, which I think is a good sign of a thriller movie, when the viewer is kind of on the edge of their seat. They don't know what's going to happen, and it's kind of intense. So I really enjoyed this film, and some of the aspects that it brought. Like I said, maybe some predictable things, but I thought the acting from the various people in it were very good, and I enjoyed it. I would watch it again as well. So it was a good thriller to see. Okay, so next up I have Spencer, came out in 2021. Diana Spencer, struggling with mental health problems during the Christmas holidays with the royal family at the estate in Norfolk, England, decide to end her decade-long marriage to Prince Charles. This is starring Kristen Stewart, of course. She was nominated for it. This movie was not what I was expecting. So I went into it, I knew it wasn't going to be like a buy-up. Like, it wasn't going to be like a life story of Princess Diana. I knew that. Still was not what I was expecting. This is not bashing Kristen's performance. I am a Kristen Stewart fan. I thought she was really good in this movie, but the storyline, like the script, is not what I was expecting, and I don't know if that's a good thing. It was enjoyable in some parts, and some parts it was a little all over the place. With how the script is, it is almost kind of a thriller in her mind. It does touch on mental health issues, and because of that, it kind of is a thriller inside her mind and her feelings and emotions, which is fine. The way that it was made is a little odd to me. There were certain points where the sound just killed me, because it would go so quiet. I couldn't hear what they were saying, and then the music, the score would come on, and it was so loud. So that was a little off-putting for the vibe of the movie. I will say there was one part in this film that gave me such secondhand embarrassment. I hate that in movies. The secondhand embarrassment just made me so uncomfortable. So overall, I am glad that I watched this movie. I wanted to know what the hype was. I don't hate Kristen's performance. I just think the script was a little odd. I'm glad I watched it. I will probably never watch this movie again. Then we have Hustlers. This came out in 2019. Inspired by the viral New York Magazine article, Hustlers follows a crew of savvy former strip club employees who band together to turn the tables on their Wall Street clients. This stars Constance Wu and Jennifer Lopez. Really good cast with this. There were several actresses that I knew going into this movie, and I enjoy all of their performances. I knew nothing about this story, the real events going into this movie. I think I had seen a trailer for it, maybe one, and I was like, okay, let's just, wanted to watch something. And this is another one where, it's the Hollywood version of true events, so you take that. But overall, I found the movie to be very entertaining, and I liked the acting, and I don't know, the vibe of the movie. It was entertaining. I am always curious when it's movies about real people, if they were involved, and like a brief Google search, I saw that the real lady that Jennifer Lopez plays, she was not involved in the movie, so I always question like how realistic the events are if the person isn't involved, things like that. But it was a good movie. I liked it. Topics, of course, won't be for everybody. It is, I think, rated R because of like the mature topics, obviously, but it was enjoyable. And then I have Turning Red, came out this year, 2022. A 13-year-old girl turns into a giant red panda whenever she gets too excited. This stars Rosalie Chang and Sandra Oh. This movie is super cute. I really enjoyed this movie. The fact that it takes place in, like, what was it? 2002. I related to this group of friends so much because, like, the preteen teen years, like, was right around that time for me, and I related to so many things in this movie with the friend group and some of the things they did. I just thought it was such a cute movie, and I loved the idea. There's so many things that I liked about this movie, and I thought it was ridiculous the amount of hate that it got online from certain groups of people. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous because it's a cute film about girls growing up and some of the things that happen when girls grow up, and I thought it was really cute, and yeah, I related to it. It should not have gotten so many of those very dramatic reviews. It's a cute movie. Then I have Witches of Eastwick, 1987. 3 single women in a picturesque village have their wishes granted at a cost when a mysterious and flamboyant man arrives in their lives. Jack Nicholson, Cher, Susan Sarandon, and Michelle Pfeiffer. So, I've known about this movie forever, like a witch movie, that's my jam, but I've never seen it. And I went to a John Williams concert, and they played the theme to this movie, and this theme is amazing. I listen to it all the time now. It's just such a good score. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to rent this movie and watch it. And it's very entertaining. First of all, the cast. Oh my gosh. Jack Nicholson, Cher, Susan Sarandon, Michelle Pfeiffer are incredible. It's an amazing cast with it. This movie definitely has the dark humor. So some people will not like that, but I like dark humor. It is also like an 80s movie, but I enjoyed it. I think it's based off of a book or a book series, so I might have to look into that. But overall, I really enjoyed the performances. The dark humor is good, and the witchy stuff was interesting, of course. And let me just say, what a rough time filming Jack Nicholson must have had. He had to be around those 3 glorious women. What a tough job. Then I have The Adam Project, came out in 2022. After accidentally crash landing in 2022, time-traveling fighter pilot Adam Reed teams up with his 12-year-old self for a mission to save the future, starring Ryan Reynolds and Walker Scobell. I love this movie. This is actually probably one of my favorite movies I've seen in a long time, where I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved the storyline, I loved the characters, the acting was incredible. I just effortlessly enjoyed this film. As I had said, Ryan Reynolds, always good. But Jennifer Garner was good too. Mark Ruffalo's in it. He's good. The kid that plays younger Ryan Reynolds, he was really entertaining, and this is too. Zoe Saldana's in it. She's amazing. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this movie. It was a great watch. I will probably for sure watch this movie again at some point. And if you kind of like comedy, sci-fi with heart, it's probably a good movie for you to see. Alright, let's see what else we got. Over the Moon came out in 2020. In this animated musical, a girl builds a rocket ship and blasts off, hoping to meet a mythical moon goddess. Stars Glenn Keane and Bryson Hall. I loved the animation in this movie. It's really beautiful. The goddess character is absolutely stunning in this movie. She's just really gorgeous. For the movie as a whole, it really had me interested at the start of the film and the end of the movie. In the middle, it kind of lost me a little bit. Not to say that it's bad, I think it had my interest more at the start and the end of the movie, and in the middle it kind of got, I don't know if boring is the right word, just a little bit mixed and all over the place, to where I lost a little bit of interest in what was happening, and then it went back up at the end. So high, and with a middle kind of low in my opinion, but it was a really cute animated film, and like I said, the animation in it was really beautiful too. Then I finally saw Spider-Man Far From Home. Came out in 2019. Following the events of the Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man must step up and take on new threats in a world that has changed forever, starring Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal. So I just never got around to seeing this movie. I've never been a huge Spider-Man fan, I know, but I just hadn't got around to seeing it, and then I knew that I was going to be seeing the newest Spider-Man, so I had to catch up. So I watched it. It was an entertaining Marvel movie, if you will. I love Tom Holland, and it was a good watch, if you will. Nothing too interesting for my review on it. And then we go to SpiderMan No Way Home, which came out in 2021. I know, I just recently saw it. I don't know how I waited so long. With Spider-Man's identity now revealed, Peter asks Doctor Strange for help. When a spell goes wrong, dangerous foes from other worlds start to appear, forcing Peter to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. So this movie had me in my feels, had me in my emotions. And that was surprising to me because I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. So I was surprised by the feels that I got from this particular movie. And I think that's something that they were aiming for, especially for big Spider-Man fans. But I really enjoyed this one. And it makes me want to go back and watch like everything, all the spider stuff, if you will. I thought it was a really good movie, and it gave the hype that everyone was expecting or whatnot, and for sure watch this one again. The last movie, which I watched just the other night, The Shape of Water, from 2017. At a top-secret research facility in the 1960s, a lonely janitor forms a unique relationship with an amphibious creature that is being held in captivity. Stars Sally Hawkins and Octavia Spencer. I liked this movie more than I expected. I had heard this movie came out, in 2017. It's been years. I heard very skeptical things about this movie, almost like poking fun at it, and I really enjoyed it. Thought the acting was great. I love Octavia Spencer, and Michael Shannon makes a great villain. I don't know if I just I heard all the funny jokes about it or whatnot, but I loved the 60s vibe, and I loved the secret experiment 60s genre, if you will. And I thought it was a really good movie. I'd probably watch it again. I thought the cast was really nice. The makeup department was incredible. So I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it, because I went into it thinking that maybe I would be more skeptical like some of the reviews that I had seen, but pleasantly surprised. Alright, those are my movies I've watched more recently. I hope you guys enjoyed this little Coffee with Cass movie review. Is this something you guys would like for future topics? Like, just talk about some movies I've watched, something simple like that? Let me know in the comments. And I'm just going to sit here and finish my coffee. Alright, lovelies. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.